Hey everyone, it's Mina Marzano here at Medicare Insiders. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today we're going to be talking about lead generation and the different options that are available to you, as well as some best practices for working those leads. So stay tuned for more info. So when it comes to leads, there's a lot to discuss, and today really we're going to keep it very high level. We're not going to get too in the weeds of different vendors or costs. We'll have other videos with that information, but for today's purposes, I just want you guys to know the different options that are available and how those options work, as well as leave you with some stats that might help you think ahead to how to work those leads. So one of the first things that I want to mention is I have conversations with agents all the time that seem to want lead generation that is foolproof and that is going to guarantee them a sale. And I would really like if you just got that idea out of your mind right now. When we're talking about leads, it's just that, right? It's a lead. We have to work to convert these over to sales. There are going to be some leads that are going to have a better closing ratio than others naturally, but a lot of that is going to depend very much on the agent and the kind of diligence and consistency that you show when you're working these leads. So I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind when we're talking about buying leads. There's nothing that's going to be guaranteed money in your hand. If it was that way, we'd all be doing it and we'd all be well off, right? First kind of lead that I want to talk about are direct mail leads. There are different kind of direct mail leads. Some of those are T65, AEP direct mail, dual eligible direct mail. There are generic Medicare eligibles. There are also Medicare supplements. Those are some that we usually don't recommend as much. But the other mailers, definitely AEP mailers, you're turning 65. I've seen so many agents have a lot of success with these leads, especially using them on a consistent basis. And how this works on the back end is a mail house will send out a piece of mail that looks very generic typically, and they'll send it out to a county or a zip code. Usually you're going to go off of zip codes that are around your area or the areas that you want to target. That mail house is then going to send these pieces of mail, usually by the thousand, to these zip codes. When the Medicare eligible receives it, they can fill it out and send it back. And at that point, they will know that someone will contact them. That card will become your lead. That will become your permission to then contact that Medicare eligible. So like I said before, there are different things that you can do to target the specific people that you want to target. So if you want to work with the dual eligibles because they have that extra enrollment period throughout the year, you can target by income. If you're doing an AEP mailer, like I said, you can target just for AEP, or people who are turning 65, people who are turning even 64. These are different kind of filters that you can use when you're trying to get a little bit more granular on the people that you're wanting to reach. I will also say that most mail houses will not mail out to that same zip code or county within 90 days unless those demographics are very different. So if I'm trying to do an AEP mailer in a zip code XYZ, they're probably not going to let, Bobby Joe do the same mailer in that same zip code if all of the other parameters are exact. Once you get those leads back, it will be on you to contact them. It is not guaranteed that the first time you call them, they're going to pick up the phone. It's not guaranteed that the first time you call them, they're going to know who's calling them. It's possible that they filled out this card and have forgotten all about it since, right? We are talking about seniors that we're working with. So we want to keep certain things in mind, and we want to be prepared when those leads come, with a mind knowing that we are going to have to follow up on this. And I'll share some statistics with you guys to put some of that into perspective here in just a second. But that's really direct mail. So we're sending out direct mail pieces. We're getting these business reply cards back, and that's going to generate the lead for us. The other kind of lead generation is going to be internet leads. So internet leads are generated online, on the internet. And those can be generated, it depends on the vendor that you're working with, but those can be generated either through different ads that are placed on different websites. It can be one website where they're drawing traffic to that one website, and Medicare eligibles are inputting their information and requesting for an agent to reach out to them. And typically that's how those leads are generated, right? So through different ads, through different websites, different online sources that will drive traffic to one place and get people to input their information and request a call back. When it comes to internet leads, I always like to tell agents, you have to be prepared to be available. A lot of these systems, you're going to be turning it on and turning it off at designated times when you're ready to take calls. The closing ratio really goes down if you wait too long on those leads to reach out to them. And a lot of these internet leads will give you or sell you exclusive leads, meaning that they're only selling the lead to you. They're not selling it to you and 5 other agents. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the person that input their information, the Medicare eligible, that input their information into this ad, didn't also input their information into another ad in another website, right? So it's as exclusive as they can guarantee it, but the truth of the matter is they might be requesting information from other sources. So you're still competing to be the first one to get in contact with that person, and every second counts. You might have also heard of telemarketing or live transfer leads, warm transfers, right? Up to this point, the leads that we've been discussing, both the direct mail leads and the internet leads that we've talked about, are outbound, right? So we are making a call to the Medicare beneficiary. We're not getting a call from the Medicare beneficiary. There are a couple of companies out there who will do live transfers, meaning that either they'll get that information and they'll call the Medicare beneficiary for you, they'll qualify the lead and then transfer it to you, or they're getting inbound calls from Medicare beneficiaries and then transferring that to a licensed agent. So those are also options that are available to you. As we get into those warm transfer leads, we're going to see the prices start to go up, right? You're getting someone that's qualifying that lead before they transfer it over to you. And even with a method like a warm transfer, it's still not a guarantee, guys, right? We're still having to put in our part. We're having to have the conversation and maybe do some follow-up work. So keep that in mind as well. The last thing I want to leave you guys with are some stats and some tips for following up with those leads and working those leads. And some of these stats are very mind-opening. The very first one that I love, it takes an average of 8 follow-up calls to reach a prospect. So if you're buying leads and you're calling them one time, guess what? You are doing yourself a major disservice. You are leaving money on the table. I have a lot of agents who put in lead orders, call them one time, and they say, these leads suck, right? No. You have to change the way that you follow up. You have to have a certain etiquette when you are working these leads, and you have to keep some of these stats in mind to know that it's just a numbers game, right? So you want to be following up with these people that you're initially making contact with. You have text message, you can email if you have that information. Another statistic says that 40% higher conversion rate if you have a follow-up text after your call. I did read another statistic that says as well, you don't want text message to be your first point of contact. That can actually harm your closing ratio. So text message is good to be used as a follow-up tactic, not as a first point of contact. 2% of sales are made during the first point of contact. 2%. So odds are, if you didn't make the sale in that first call, you're good. You're where everybody else is, right? Continue to follow up. A lot of the people that you call, they're not going to be ready to buy within that first call, right? You might have to earn their trust by calling them a couple of times, show your consistency, right? So you want to call them, you want to leave them voicemails. If you have their email address, you want to send emails. A statistic on emails, 33% of people open emails because of the subject line, and also including their name in the subject line can increase the chances of them opening that email. So if you're doing any kind of email marketing, keep those two things in mind, right? Have a good catchy subject line in place. And if you can include their first name in that subject line, you might increase your probabilities that they'll open that email. 80% of sales are made within the 5th to 12th contact attempt. 80%, right? So we're talking 5th through 12th, right? At least 5 times of calling someone. These are the numbers that we have seen consistently. You can look these numbers. They're all over the internet. You're going to see 5th, 6th, 7th contact attempt is when people are getting through and making that first contact, making that sale. So don't get discouraged because you didn't reach that person on the first call. Even on the second or third call, it's important to be persistent and to continue to follow up. Going back to those internet leads that we were talking about, getting to them quickly, you are 9 times more likely to convert if you reach them within the first 5 minutes. So when we're talking internet leads, this is precisely why it's important to have the time blocked off for when you're available to take these calls, or to make these calls rather, because you want to reach them within 5 minutes of them inputting that information online. It's going to help them to remember that they put that information online. They won't have to think twice about it. And it's going also to reflect well on you that you reached out to them quickly. It shows high priority. So those are some of the stats that I have for you guys. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you guys have learned something today. Please let me know what other information you guys want me to discuss when it comes to leads. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much.